Namaste, you're on the Nation at 5. I'm Anand Narsimhan coming to you live from the newsroom here at CNN News 18. And on this Monday edition, we start with news just coming through. It's a CNN News 18 exclusive. And it's the entire litany of offenses committed in Pakistan against minorities in Pakistan. Open, threadbare, and clearly the world needs to sit up and take notice of a failed nation which has failed to live up to its promises and also failed to live up to the dream of one of its founding father, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Now, if you were to go by what was said in the assembly in Pakistan by Jinnah himself, who wanted Pakistan to be a secular state and to ensure that people of all religious denominations will be safe and their safety will be guaranteed. But it's a sorry record that states itself. In fact, news coming through that its list of crimes against minorities, we have accessed that entire list. 2022 saw multiple cases of forced abductions, conversions, and targeted killings against and especially against minorities, be it Hindus, Sikhs, Christians, Buddhists. And in November, US had put Pakistan in the list of nations violating religious freedom. Now, there are several cases of abduction of minor Hindu girls that were actually closed as false cases. In other cases, there was no reprieve even from the courts, who tried to ratify and justify illegal marriages which were performed under Islamic law. The recent cases of Nisha and Hina, prematurely closed by the Pak police, stands out. Multiple girls still missing or forcibly married off to much older women. Much older men, Muslim men. 14-year-old Savita Meghwar, abducted in Tandu Al-Hayar. A lot of these crimes have been being committed, and the reports coming through are from the Sindh province in Pakistan. Savita was married to her 22-year-old abductor Mushtaq. 13-year-old Urmila Sonu, abducted in Karachi, has not yet been recovered. 35-year-old Lalu Kachi was killed by a mob trying to abduct his sister. And he was trying to protect his sister against this mob. Over 9,100 missing persons cases have been filed in 2022, and most of these cases have been filed by the minority community. So there seems to be an endemic or an epidemic of abductions, forced conversions, and this assault on minorities, and especially the women from minority community in Pakistan. Over 1,000 killings, abduction and torture cases have also been reported just from the province of Balochistan. So this is a sorry state of affairs in Pakistan, which tries to lecture other nations and tries to portray a very, very dignified position as far as religious freedom. But this is the reality on ground, and we have here at CNN News 18 access that list. Pathik Ritpayan, security analyst with us, and we should have Jai Ahuja, President Nimittakam, an NGO in Jaipur that's been working tirelessly to help distressed minorities coming from West Pakistan, Hindus, Sikhs, Buddhists, who are seeking refuge and asylum in India and who have been looking to the CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, as something that would provide them some succor and recourse. And they've also been knocking the doors of the Indian government to give them passports. But what is happening is that the Pakistan embassy is refusing to give them their Pakistani passports, or even a meeting to try and surrender their Pakistani passports. They're not even allowing them to leave Pakistani soil and to come over to India. So there are lots of challenges that minorities are facing over in Pakistan. Pathik Ritpayan with us. Pathik Rit, sorry state of affairs. 9,100 plus missing persons cases, largely from the minority community. And there is a pattern to this entire modus operandi, and also the region, Balochistan, Sindh.
Hello, Anand, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Anand, first of all, I think the figure is still a conservative one. I'm sure there's a large proportion of such incidents which remain unreported. The whole families get completely wiped out. Secondly, my real grudge is against the US Convention for International Religious Freedom, which keeps on lecturing India and absolutely remains silent on the issue of Pakistan, be it on issue of terrorism, be it on issue of conversion. I think the stand that the West has taken on Pakistan is deplorable, and I think it's also time that the issues or the controversies or the disputes related CAA, which have been put up into Supreme Court, there are many litigations. I think Supreme Court must take a stand, and I hope in the near future the rules will be framed so that those people who have been hoping for a long time to get citizenship in India do get it in due course of time. And we also need to think about future. You know, the Citizenship Amendment Act is only about giving citizenship to those people who came to India up till 2014. But what about those people who want to come now? What is the provision? They can't keep on waiting for 7 to 10 years. Their visas get expired and they have to go back to Pakistan and the hell of Pakistan all over again. So it's a very, very disappointing situation. But I'm not surprised in many of the Islamic states of Middle East or Afghanistan, this has been the same. So the reality is, for all those countries who actually lecture democracy like India and our pluralism, it's amazing how they remain silent on Pakistan. And also for those so-called secular parties of India who have taken a stand against Citizenship Amendment Act, who keep on abusing Hinduism, who keep on abusing so-called Hindutva politics. I fail to understand when it comes to the issue of this forced conversion, be it of Sikhs or Christians or even Hindus predominantly, why do they remain silent? And why is it that for so long we haven't taken a strong stand and taken to the Pakistan to United Nations? I think just like
not just taking them to United Nations, it's taking them to the cleaners globally. That's to spin such a strong, powerful narrative and a real story and narrative that it counters all the propaganda and canards that Pakistan tries to go and propagate to the West, especially in Europe and in America, about what is happening in India, the amount of religious freedom. The fact that there are entities who think they can club India with Pakistan as far as religious freedom is concerned, and these entities are part of the academia and some of the top universities in the world, is a travesty in itself. That's the reality, Pathakrit, and we need to understand that. I'm also bringing in Jai Ahuja. Namaste, Jai. This is... would you say that these are conservative numbers? 9,100 cases of missing persons, largely from the minority community in Pakistan, concentrated in Balochistan and the Sindh region. 1,000 people missing only in Balochistan.
पाकिस्तान इज ए रोग स्टेट, आनंद भाई। पाकिस्तान में ये रोज की बात है। और अभी अभी जैसे हमारे भाई कह रहे थे कि ये अनरिपोर्टेड केसेस बहुत बड़ी संख्या में है जो थानों तक नहीं पहुंचते। आपको जैसा कि पहले भी मैंने जानकारी दी थी कि पाकिस्तान में कोई लैंड सेटलमेंट एक्ट या कोई लैंड रिफॉर्म नहीं हुए, तो वहां पे दलित और ट्राइबल हिंदू बड़ी संख्या में बॉन्डेड लेबर के रूप में रह रहा है और उनकी बच्चों को भोगदासी, सेक्स स्लेवरी के लिए उठा लिया जाता है। उन फ्यूडल्स की, सामंतों की, जागीरदारों की प्राइवेट जेलें हैं जिसमें इन लोगों को छोटी मोटी बात पर भी जेल में बंद कर दिया जाता है। तो जहां निजात नहीं है, जहां कोई व्यवस्था ही नहीं है, जिस देश में पुलिस तक पहुंचने का कोई साधन और कोई सिस्टम ही नहीं है, वहां पर अनरिपोर्टेड केसेस मल्टीपल टाइम ज्यादा है। इसका वेरिफिकेशन आप चाहे तो जोधपुर और जैसलमेर की भील और मेघवाल दलित ट्राइबल की बस्ती में आके कर सकते हैं। वहां 80% ऐसे लोग हैं जिनकी बच्चियां उठी हैं, लेकिन वो केस को कभी रिपोर्ट कराने थाने भी नहीं गए क्योंकि उनकी इतनी क्षमता नहीं थी। हमारे जैसे लोगों ने सहायता करके अगर उनके पासपोर्ट बनवाने में, वीजा लेने में सहायता नहीं की होती तो भारत भी नहीं आ सकते थे। और सबसे बड़ी बात, कुछ समय पहले 2021 में ही ज्वाइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी इसके इमरान खान के शासन में बनी, जिसमें माइनॉरिटी की सिचुएशन को असेस करने के लिए उस कमेटी को अधिकार दिए गए। उस कमेटी ने माना कि पाकिस्तान में 4 केसेस रोज तो ऐसे हैं माइनॉरिटी की बच्चियों की किडनैपिंग और फोर्स कन्वर्जन के, जो कि रिपोर्टेड है। इसके अलावा बड़ी संख्या में अनरिपोर्टेड केसेस भी हैं माइनॉरिटी के, जो कभी रिकॉर्ड पे नहीं आते। तो ये उनके देश की पार्लियामेंट की कमेटी मान रही है, ये हम नहीं कह रहे हैं।
तो आप ये कह रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान का संसद ही ऑफिशियली मांगता है, ऑफिशियली ये मानता है कि हर रोज 4 बेटियां उनकी अगवा हो रही हैं। ऑफिशियली वो मान रहे हैं ऑन अ डे।
आनंद जी, एक और बड़ा प्रयास हुआ है। हमारे एक दोस्त हैं, उनके माध्यम से हमने ऋषि सुनक साहब के ऑफिस में सारे डॉक्यूमेंट पहुंचाए हैं और जो सबसे बड़ा राक्षस इन बच्चों को उठवाने के पीछे जो सबसे बड़ा सपोर्ट सिस्टम है, बरचंडी शरीफ का, दरगाह का, चिश्ती मियां मिट्टू, उसकी संस्था को अभी यूके ने बैन किया है। तो ये एक नई शुरुआत हुई है, पर हमें दुख इस बात का है, ये सब काम भारत सरकार के करने के हैं। भारत इस देश में बड़े भाई की भूमिका में है और वहां पे इतने अमानवीय अत्याचार माइनॉरिटीज पे हो रहे हैं और भारत सरकार इस पे कोई डिप्लोमेटिक एक्शन नहीं लेती है। ये थोड़ा सा आश्चर्य का विषय है। इतने प्रज्ञावान हमारे विदेश मंत्री हैं डॉक्टर जयशंकर, कि उनके सामने, उनके तर्कों के सामने दुनिया में कोई नहीं टिकता, फिर भी पाकिस्तान और बांग्लादेश में होने वाली इन भयानक यातनाओं पर अभी भी डॉक्टर जयशंकर खुल के बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, या भारत एज ए नेशन बात नहीं कर रहा है।
भारत ने की है, ऐसा नहीं है कि वो खुल के बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, बात तो उन्होंने की है, क्योंकि ये यूएन में भी ये कहा गया, यूएनएचआरसी में भी कहा गया। और उस दिन फॉरेन मिनिस्टर जयशंकर जब कह रहे थे, एक तो उन्होंने उसको एपिसेंटर ऑफ टेरर कहा और दूसरा ये भी कहा कि इट्स सच अ सॉरी रिकॉर्ड ऑफ द वे दे ट्रीट देयर माइनॉरिटीज। तो इस पर भी उन्होंने कहा है। लेकिन हाँ, मैं इस बात से आपकी मानता हूं कि भारत को और कसकर और डटकर इसका मुकाबला करने की आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि जिस तरह से एक नैरेटिव, एक बवाल, एक बवंडर खड़ा कर देता है पाकिस्तान और उसके साथ अलाइड जितने भी देश हैं भारत के खिलाफ, एक घटना यहाँ हो जाती है और उसको इतना बड़ा बखेड़ा कर देते हैं, राई का पहाड़ बनाते हैं। यहाँ तो इतना बड़ा पहाड़ है जो इन्होंने किया हुआ है, व्हाट दे हैव डन जय। एंड यू आर सेइंग एंड यू आर सेइंग दैट दिस मियां मिट्टू हैज बीन बैंड इन यूके, हिज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हैज बीन बैंड इन यूके, ही एंड हिज लॉट आर द मोस्ट नेफेरियस इन दिस रीजन इन सिंध फॉर डूइंग दिस।
It's recently happened before 15 days only.
Oh, 15 दिन पहले he has been banned in the UK. But what about in Pakistan? He's allowed to operate in Pakistan.
अब सर वहां पे तो हाफिज सईद भी अलाउड है, वहां पे तो मौलाना मसूद अजहर भी अलाउड है। वो एक कॉलेप्स होते हुए एक रोग स्टेट के बारे में तो क्या बोले। वहां तो पूरी दुनिया के टेररिज्म की फैक्ट्री है और माइनॉरिटी तो वो किसी को समझते ही नहीं। हिंदू लो हैंगिंग फ्रूट्स, कभी भी जाओ, कभी भी बेटी उठा लो, कभी भी मार दो। इवन सिक्स आर इन वेरी बैड सिचुएशन। अभी 20 सिख परिवार भी निकल के आए हैं हमारी सहायता से। उनकी भी अगर कोई बात सुन ले बैठ के तो उसके कानों में से खून निकल जाएगा और आंखों में से खून के आंसू बहेंगे। इतनी यातना उन बेचारों ने वहां पर।
No, we'd like to speak with them. Jai Ahuja, we'd like to speak with these families, and I'm going to reach out to you after this broadcast to see how we can speak to these families, because the world needs to listen to them. If they are in a condition and if they are okay to come up in media and ready to speak, well, then we will speak with them here on CNN News 18, on the Nation at 5 or on the Right Stand. But Pathikrit, the fact of the matter... The fact of the matter is, as Jai Ahuja puts it, and the courts also either are helpless or end up bowing to the Sharia law. See, these girls are forcefully converted and the marriage is then conducted in Sharia law. Then the Pakistani courts also can't touch that. It's a very, very planned operational modus operandi. And imagine tribal girls, Dalit people are working as bonded labor in Pakistan. So where is this entire global academia and this entire lobby which is wanting to only highlight what is happening, and that too falsely, as far as tribals and Dalits in India is concerned, but they turn a blind eye to what's happening to tribals and Dalits in Pakistan. Not one case has been listed, not one aspect being spoken. This is playing a dangerous narrative game, and India cannot afford to lose this.
No, absolutely, you are right, Anand. If the West can leave people of Afghanistan in the lurch, so I see no reason that the West will be concerned about the minorities in Pakistan. Let me tell you, Anand, I'll repeat the example of Salman Taseer, the person who actually raised the issue that the blasphemy law should be, amended or changed. He was shot dead, and his security guard Mumtaz Qadri, who killed him, actually became a hero. The issue in Pakistan is that if you are converted into Islam from being a Muslim or from being a Hindu or a Sikh, then the court says that once you have converted to Islam, you cannot convert back to any other religion. The courts are helpless because the judges will be shot dead. In 2021, there's an anti-forced conversion bill that was brought in the Pakistan legislation, but that bill was rejected by terming it as anti-Islam. So far as the Western academia is concerned, that is exactly what Rajiv Malhotra has mentioned in the book called Snakes in the Ganga. The kind of narrative that the Western academia, partly funded by the petrodollar of Middle East, creates, which will accuse India for a lot of things, But when a lot of malaise happens, whether it is in Pakistan or whether it is in certain other countries which are not democratic per se, the Western academia remains silent. Their entire focus is to pin down India so that India doesn't rise to the occasion where it becomes a competitor for the West and only remains a market.
No, but that is, Patikrit, what I'm saying is these are all paid for or for hire activists. So you throw dollars at them and then they will jump and dance to your tune and they will write as you do. So if this game can be done by Pakistan, a bankrupt country which does not even have more than $5 billion in its foreign reserves, why do you think India should allow such a nation to be able to crowd a narrative? Or is it time that things will turn? Now, how many times have we as a nation turned around and made a hue and cry when even a Hindu, Sikh or a Christian girl or boy are touched or a family is touched, when a temple is desecrated? Have we taken the Pakistan government diplomatically to the cleaners worldwide? Is it not high time we do that?
I agree we should do this. Unfortunately, Anand, a lot of Indian corporates actually fund Western universities, but they only fund the chair, but they don't help in shaping the narrative which will help India in its longer diplomatic goal. Vis-a-vis when China funds money to the West, they actually control the narrative as well. That's why you see the Western universities are not very critical of China, but they become very critical of India in spite of the fact that it is the Indian corporates which put in substantial amount of money in the Ivy League universities and other league universities. The reality is that while we fight the conventional war and fight the asymmetric war or the subconventional war, we must also seriously take the war of disinformation, the war of information more seriously. And we should not wait.
Somewhere I concur with you with your with the travesty that we face as a country, where we actually pay the West or we turn around and then allow them to dance on our heads. So that is something we need to break out of, because other nations don't do that. When they pay a country or when they pay a particular academy or this one, then they also tell them how they want and what is the narrative they want set. So that is also something which we need to as a country figure out and move out of this entire self-deprecating attitude and allow others to run roughshod over a nation that carries 1/5 of the world's population and is the fifth strongest economy in the world. So that is something that we need to flex muscle on. But moving on, Patikrit and Jai Ahuja, thank you very much. And Jai, a quick reminder, we'd like to speak to those families who you were talking about, and we'll take it offline after this broadcast. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, it's not just other religious minorities in Pakistan who are ill-treated. Even Muslim minorities in Pak-occupied territory are suffering. Here is a story from Pak-occupied Gilgit-Baltistan. Well, their hold is slipping, with the region seeing multiple protests against land grab by the Pak army, against illegal taxes, against high power rates, against lack of ration. There is a 1-month truce that's been called because the current government has pleaded them to give them 30 days, but the clock is ticking and the protests will be out soon because not much has been done on ground. Gilgit-Baltistan is the largest part of Pak-occupied Kashmir. So that is why it is called Pak-occupied Jammu Kashmir, because Gilgit-Baltistan came into the larger region of Jammu. It is Pakistan's only non-Sunni majority administrative region. People of Gilgit are a mix of Pamiri, Dardik and Ladakhi Muslim cultures. Balti are primarily Shia. Nur-Bakshiya Muslim converts are from Ladakhi Buddhists. Nur-Bakshiya Muslims of Baltistan and Ladakh are a very, very distinct Muslim sect. So they are again a separate sect within Islam and within Muslims, and they are a minority sect. Religiously, Gilgit is equally divided among Shias, Sunnis and Ismailis. Terrorists from Gilgit who operate in Jammu and Kashmir hail from the Sunni Shina community. Gilgit is strategically located, surrounded by Tajikistan, Afghanistan and of course East Turkestan, or which the Chinese call as New Territory or Xinjiang. Gilgit-Baltistan provides Pakistan's only land border with China, and that's why the Chinese have vested interests. Sovereign Indian territory which has now been pawned off to the Chinese by an occupier. Gilgit was part of the Dogra Kingdom. Ladakh and Baltistan merged by General Zorawar Singh. 1947, Gilgit scouts under Major William Brown rebelled against the Dogra rule. 1947, Major Brown threatened to kill all Hindu and Sikh residents in Gilgit town. 1947, Independent Gilgit lasted only for 16 days before Pak occupying that entire region, which they were not supposed to occupy. Did we commit historical mistakes? Well, that's a different aspect. But the treatment of the Shia, Nur Shia and the Ismailis in this Gilgit-Baltistan region is a sorry state of affairs. They have been pushed to the corner, they have been denied of any growth, any development, any opportunity, and they have been made to shout and scream for every single part they have to take to the streets. For power, they have to take to the streets. For water, they have to take to the streets. For ration, they have to take to the streets. And now, even as they take to the streets, the Pakistan army is moving into their property and seizing that away illegally. Javed Beg now joins us, political activist, writer from Jammu and Kashmir. Javed, you had written a series of posts on the status and the sorry state of affairs and how the Shias, Nur Shias, Ismailis in Gilgit-Baltistan have been treated.
Well, yes, this is very unfortunate and very sad on part of our country that we have not understood the strategic importance and relevance of Gilgit-Baltistan, which is part of our country and continues to be under illegal occupation. We have to understand until now, 88% Shia population was the majority in Gilgit-Baltistan, but now 60%. After them, Shia and by Shia in 1988, and he has really done this and continues to do so. Because we have to understand the ethnic and just of this place. Gilgit and Baltistan is Shia and Nur Shia, who are comparatively tolerant and peace people. But being settled there radical because in militant they come from this area. They are not Shia or Shina speaking Shia. There are Shina speaking militants also in Pakistan, but Shia, they are radically and they belong to Sunni faith of Islam. We have to understand this. The founding father of Kashmir's first militant organization, JKLF, whose name is Amanullah Khan. He was also from Astur district of Gilgit-Baltistan and was a Muslim. And the protesters and all the things beyond price rise and land grab and ethnic cleansing is being carried out in Gilgit-Baltistan. And our country has the biggest role to play because that area is ours. We can nominate Gilgit, people of Gilgit and Baltistan, the diaspora of Pakistan, to our local assembly since we have some reserve seats kept for Pakistan occupied Kashmir.
24 seats in the erstwhile Jammu Kashmir Ladakh. 24 seats were reserved, but never filled, never appointed.
Very unfortunate. Because we have not understood the actual importance and significance of that area. And Gilgit-Baltistan is the only area which connects Pakistan with China. And that's how Pakistan thinks of himself as a power. Pakistan occupied Kashmir. But, one more thing we have to understand.
Javed Beg, just hold on to your thoughts. We'll try and fix your audio because it's a little dodgy there and up and downy. We'll sort that out. Amjad Ayub Mirza is also with us. Amjad Ayub Mirza, you are from that region. Do you agree with this fact that the Shia, Nur Shia, have been marginalized? They should actually be spoken to. It's the Sunnis and the Punjabis who are actually trying to overcrowd Gilgit-Baltistan, take over, and under the garb of the Pakistani army, a lot of torture and ill treatment and torment meted on the people of Gilgit-Baltistan, the actual residents, indigenous people.
Thank you very much for having me on your show, Anand. Actually, you are absolutely right. All Shias now are under the threat of this Pakistani onslaught. Afghan Taliban have already arrived with the TTP in Gilgit-Baltistan, and it was reported during a press conference 4 days ago held by the former president of the Bar Association, Mr. Rashid Umar. He warned, he said Taliban are arriving here. Who is sending them? Why are they coming here? But I can tell you that Pakistan wants to drown the civil disobedience movement into the sea of blood of communal violence. That is what Pakistan is strategy is now heading towards. Now, even as I speak, there are protests going on in Hajira, in Muzaffarabad, in Nakyal, in POJK, and in Kharmang, Shagar, and in Gilgit and Skardu in Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir. This is the time, Anand, this is the time when the people of Union Territory Jammu Kashmir and Jammu must, and Ladakh, must come out and hold a solidarity protest for our people, because our people now are fighting. और वो क्या कह रहे हैं? वो कह रहे हैं कारगिल स्कर्दू खोल दो, टूटे नाते जोड़ दो, कारगिल स्कर्दू खोल दो, दोनों को जोड़ दो. This is the extent of, and I am receiving so many messages from young people who say, Dr. Saab, we all want to join India. We all want to join India. How can we do that? So this is the time is ripe. The only thing that I am seeing is that our friends like Javed and others in Kashmir, they are, I think, hesitating in taking out solidarity protests for POJK and POGB people who are on the streets in freezing temperatures.
See, along with the solidarity protest and expression, more importantly, Gilgit-Baltistan has to be strongly seen as sovereign Indian territory. If the parliament of our country, not once, twice, but more than that, has underlined that Gilgit-Baltistan and that entire region, all of Jammu and Kashmir, is a sovereign integral part of India. So then beyond just weather updates from Mirpur, Muzaffarabad and Skardu, there has to be more that needs to be done. But Javed Beg, consciousness also needs to be there. There has to be a clear intention that the people of Gilgit-Baltistan, the communities, the tribal communities, all of them have to show solidarity with Bharat. There has to be a certain confidence that has to be built. The other aspect is that the numbers have to be shown to the world. This is how an occupier is treating the minorities in that region. And that too, a Muslim occupier, and how he's treating Muslim minorities.
Yes, Anand, it is, responsibility of every Indian. We are bound to protect the people of Gilgit-Baltistan. And we need to tell about the immediate massacre where, Ziaul brought there and some Arab militants, and they killed sheep. The government has notified as so they are mistreated. Tell our people this. We need to tell world communities and international platforms how Pakistan is mistreating these people. They are our people. Gilgit-Baltistan. Right. We are duty bound to take it back.
See, these things will not repair overnight, because these cuts and these wedges have been driven over decades. But more importantly, Amjad Ayub Mirza, shouldn't Pakistan be exposed as a nation that cannot and has not respected minorities, be it non-Muslim minorities or even Muslim minorities? And it stands true from their occupied territory in Gilgit-Baltistan all the way down into Balochistan, another occupied territory, and into Sindh.
Well, obviously it's important and necessary, and who else other than yourself and your channel has been at the forefront of Indian media in exposing Pakistan? when it comes to treatment of minorities and what is going on in Gilgit-Baltistan and POJK. Of course, it is the duty of every single Indian citizen who is a political activist or a social activist to raise their voice now for the people of POJK and POGB. I'm telling you, the conditions for reunification are ripe. The only thing that is lacking is that the people of Gilgit-Baltistan and POJK are not hearing solidarity voices coming out from Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh. That is the key now. If, for instance, people of Jammu and Kashmir and people of Ladakh hold big rallies in Leh, in Kargil, in Srinagar, in Jammu city, that will resonate in a big way. अभी तो हम अकेले लड़ रहे हैं, हमारा तो कोई बाजू नहीं पकड़ रहा, हमारे लिए तो कोई आवाज नहीं उठा रहा. So once that happens, then it will trigger into a freedom movement from Pakistan. That is the gist of the situation right now.
In doing that, that is also not an easy walk because it is also riddled with thorns and also hurdles, especially in terms of the narrative. India has to be very careful about that because it should not turn around and allow Pakistan to spin it as if all of Jammu and Kashmir wants to be with them, rather than all of Jammu and Kashmir, which is an integral part of India, wants the occupier to vacate and go back. Because this aspect of ये जो दहशत गर्दी है, इसके पीछे वर्दी है, this aspect has to be told to the whole world that this is the Pak military establishment, the Pak Vardi, and Pakistani misadministration and its treatment, its attitude towards minorities, be it Muslim minorities or non-Muslim minorities, which needs to be exposed. Javed Beg and Amjad Ayub Mirza, thank you very, very much. We're going to take a short break here on The Nation at 5. Stay with us.